Bermuda economy and Bermudians' livelihoods were getting worse. Retail sales were in a tailspin. Gross domestic product, the key indicator of health of the economy, was falling, and was only sustained by projects conceived under the One Bermuda Alliance, which are now, first target is to get a balanced budget. We heard promises of scores of fintech jobs and millions of dollars in investment. We heard plans for a fintech hub. I ask you this, Bermuda, what have we gotten? While Bermudians have suffered under the weight of new and increased taxes, the Premier increases the size of cabinet payroll. How did the sugar tax affect your grocery bills? Did you know that the PLP's increased foreign currency purchase tax actually put prices of almost everything in Bermuda up? No one could have predicted COVID-19. But post-COVID-19, there is no discernible economic recovery plan. You've heard this already, Bermuda. This is what the Premier said in December of 2017. We will grow the economy. This, to this day, has not happened. What we have seen is scores of planes now with people filling them up, leaving the island. Number two, use the $100 million infrastructure fund to invest in capital projects to kickstart the economy. We are told the money is there, so let's put it to good use. Let's invest in some capital projects to help kickstart the economy. Number three, lower taxes. We need to put more money into people's pockets so they will spend more. When the One Bermuda Alliance was in government, we had a clear plan, and that plan was working. We had inward investment, creating new jobs and wealth, and we were on a course for a balanced budget. Bermuda, this government needs to be held accountable. They have had 18 years to fix things. If there are legacy issues today, it is due to the PLP's inaction. Bermudians are looking for. Come on over to the podium, man.
I would also like to say, good day, Bermuda. I would like to think of today as exactly one has served Smith's Parish, including Constituency 9, for 27 years, and for that, we are all grateful. I would also like to express gratitude for him for making this an easy transition. I must also thank the leader of the One Bermuda Alliance, Vic Ball, for the opportunity to run in this constituency. I would especially like to acknowledge the people of Constituency 9 for the enthusiastic welcome I have received so far. I look forward to earning your trust and to represent you to the best of my ability in the constituency, the broader political arena, as well as in the House of Assembly with your support. I initiated the speech by saying it is a good day. Like many of you sitting on the sidelines of politics and observing what is going on, it is abundantly clear that things are going wrong for our country. Today, I step forward to do more than simply analyze, evaluate, and criticize the government. In recent years, Bermuda has undergone drastic changes. There are few, if any, among us who believe that these changes are for the better. Almost every living adult can remember when our standard of living was higher and we were more hopeful and optimistic about the future. We remember when we preserve and distribute more evenly what we had to blame COVID-19. But as we all know, COVID-19 has done is to catch us in a downward spiral, making a bad situation much worse. We had no plans to. It is harder and harder to make ends meet. The education of our children is in crisis. It is increasingly difficult to sell our homes or even to buy one. And it is a significant challenge finding a job. The Premier, in one of his speeches long before the pandemic, said that we should forget about how things used to be. Basically, to stop complaining and suck it up, because there is no going back to the good old days. Instead, what we are being promised is a harsh reality of an educational system that continues to fail our children, blocking their only path to success. the debt burden is swelling, for which we and these same children will have to pay higher and more taxes. We are now a hopelessly divided country, where instead of pulling together to solve problems, the PLP stoke emotions about race and class to divert our attention away from these problems. The net result is that the problems and challenges are getting worse, with no end or solution in sight. It is most unfortunate that we no longer debate issues on their merits anymore. We hurl personal insults at each other about who is siding with who in an us against them rivalry that benefits no one except the PLP politicians fanning the flames. Let us think about this. The OBA is supposed to be a white party, no matter how many black people created it, support it, are a part of it, or what it offers to improve black lives. My black OBA colleagues and I are supposed to be puppets and surrogates, no matter what we say or do. On the other side, the PLP is pro-black, irrespective of the steady ruin and decay of the quality of black lives under its rule over the past 2 decades. We are constantly told that the OBA is the new UBP, in spite of how many former UBP MPs and former leaders are now in the cabinet and the heart and in the midst of the PLP, including the UBP, last standing member. Nobody can say otherwise because we are not listening to each other anymore. Politicians make fancy, emotional speeches, then walk away, and nothing is done until the next speech. In the meantime, all of us feel the pessimism and hopelessness of our future. No matter how we slice it, our country is going down the drain. There is now talk of rushing to the polls for a snap election. The fact is that a party with an overwhelming majority in the House and barely 3 years into a 5-year term would only do this as their best chance of being re-elected. They cannot see a way out of our current predicament and challenges, so they want to rope voters in while they still can to secure political opportunities for themselves and the PLP elite. If their strategy is successful, it is only downhill after that. It is for these reasons I have decided to no longer stand on the sidelines without contributing to change the course from this downward direction. I intend to add substance and thought to the debate. I look forward to putting forth ideas and promises that will give our future a better I intend to add substance and thought to the debate, to put forward ideas and promises a brighter future, and to commit to putting those ideas into action. At the outset, we must change the tone of our politics. For the love of this country, we need to value good ideas and useful discourse. Again, OBA are supposed to be vehicles to serve the people of this country, not to serve themselves at the expense of our country. In addition, I am stepping forward to deliver on the OBA's promise of representing the interests of all Bermudians. Our country will never improve if we cannot get past the idea of a black government representing black interests only, just as we were unable to get past the roadblock of a white government representing mainly white interests. The only brighter future we can possibly have is one where everyone is represented. The goal of good government is to move our country forward for the good of all Bermudians. We need working class Bermudians just as much as we need those who create employment opportunities. No segment of our country is insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant. The choice that I am presenting today is for us to move forward in a positive direction of government representing all of our interests while developing and utilizing all of our human resources. We need a growing economy that benefits everyone. On the other hand, we can stay mired in a defiant us against that attitude, where emotional, divisive speeches filled with slogans and empty promises are all that we are given, while the quality of our life continues to decline. Today is a good day Because when Bermudians are given the choice, we will always choose to move forward positively. That choice begins today.
Any questions?
Yes. Senator Ball, can the island's economy bounce back from this pandemic, let's say a year from now?
Yes, the economy can bounce back, but it's going to take some concerted effort by the government to increase the island's population, as I spoke of earlier. It's going to take a concerted effort between businesses and labor, between blacks and whites, rich and poor, to invest in our country, to put it back together in short order.
So it isn't all gloom and gloom?
Nothing is ever all doom and gloom.
Good morning, Fiona McPartner from the Royal Gazette. With regards to standing in this constituency, obviously Mr. Lunnis was there for a good number of years and very popular as a local there. Can you tell us what connections you have to the constituency, please?
What connections do I have to the constituency? I have been canvassing constituency for the last month. I have met quite a few people. My personal connection, I mean, I don't live in the constituency, if that's what you're asking. I actually live in Warwick, which is about 15 minutes away, which is not that far. And I'm always a phone call away or always an email away from anyone that has any concerns. And I will be there to handle those concerns as quickly and as expeditiously as possible.
And do you think in constituents you can earn the trust of constituents
But yes,
quickly?
yes, I do believe that.
And with regards to, you talked about the overwhelming majority that PLP holds in the House of Assembly at the moment. We're obviously riding on a fairly good wave of success with handling the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you think the OBA then presents itself in a by-election? How sort of strong or likely is the candidacy like?
Yeah, and you know, I've heard on the doorstep that the people do believe that the PLP has handled the health pandemic very well, and that's fine. But everyone is concerned about the economy. The economy is 95% of the problems that we have moving forward. The health concern is, you know, about 5%. And if we don't get our economy back working properly, all of the good work that has been done on the pandemic will be doing down the drain, because we'll be continuing to borrow money, we'll be continuing to have to, and we'll be continuing to run into.
And people will perhaps remember, Senator, you offered your resignation following some information that came out during the Commission of Inquiry with regards to
Yes, you do remember, but the Premier at the time rejected that letter. And since then, 11 years ago, this incident with the Commission of Inquiry would have taken place 11 years ago. I think people are now concerned about how they're going to buy groceries in 11 days, how they're going to pay their bills in 11 months, and the education that their children are going to receive and the jobs that they might be able to get within that.
The constituency, how do any of the issues in 9 differ from the rest of Bermuda?
I think Bermuda on a whole, we're a small little 21-mile island. I would think that in the constituency, as I've observed, there isn't, like I would say, shootings. I haven't heard of about shooting, so that would be somewhat different. But I would think that over.
Question that was asked from ZBM about it's not all doom and gloom. I recall a conversation with some media people back some time ago and said, if we do not fix the economy, then one of the first places that are going to be hit is the very jobs that you are doing. And so I find it rather interesting that it's coming from the media that it's not all doom and gloom. As I look around, there's less of you and you doing more work. We are in a state, and if you're not feeling it, I'm not sure whether you're living in Bermuda or not. It didn't start COVID. Economy. In Bermuda, we have got to come together to resolve the issues that we do have to move forward. You've just heard from a fine new candidate now who has spelled out very clearly where we are. We're still battling the same old issues from decades and decades and decades ago. It is now time for bold moves. We are not getting it from this government, and the One Bermuda Alliance is determined that it will build off of what it did when it started out in 2012, and it will make those bold moves that are needed. there is much change that has to happen. And that is where we will start, making the changes that are necessary to be progressive for our young people who see no hope in Bermuda, to find security for that middle-class person and that labor guy who's out there trying to survive, and for our seniors, for them to be able to retire and to enjoy the beauty of what they have built over the past years. We can no longer continue on living off of the past. We have got to be progressive as a government and make the changes that are necessary. They will be sweeping, and we will talk about that at a later date, but it's now time to get it on, Bermuda. It's now time to start making those changes, because our young people can no longer afford the debt that we are passing on to them. So thank you very much. Have a good day.